What's going on, guys? CWG here. Welcome to another episode of Nomifactory. Let's go. And oh boy, have I been busy in between episodes. I know it's been like 3 weeks, but I've still been doing lots of progress here. Now here we are on the first floor of our void base, which is slowly being built. And not too much has changed down here. We still have our massive line of LV machines. We got our little hammer system here, making different stuffs and things. We got our steam set up using sugarcane as fuel. Oh, by the way, when I was participating in the mystery event in which there will be a movie coming out in 1 month, someone showed me this block called the Super Sound Muffler. Yeah, this is a real thing and not too expensive to make, and it just mutes all the sound around it. So we can turn on our sugarcane farm here and you hear nothing. It's honestly kind of spooky. Over in this area, you can't hear anything. You can't even hear yourself jump. I feel like I don't have my headphones on, but if you walk away, we can hear ourselves jump again. So yeah, fancy mute block. Pretty neat. Alright, now most of my progress in between episodes have been on the second floor. We have an elevator here now. Now I'm gonna go up there and show you everything that has changed. Don't get overwhelmed. Here we are. Welcome to the second floor. Let me show you what I've been working on. First of all, we have a very simple AE system here, which is basically like a Google search for all your items. We'll get back to that in a second. Everything starts right here. This is the lifeline to our entire factory, right here. Because if you remember at the end of last episode, I said I was going to automate polymer clay. And that's what this stuff is right here. Oh, you want to know how we get the polymer clay? Well, first we have an infinite cobble generator right here. Then the cobble is being turned into gravel. Then the gravel's being turned to sand. Then the sand's being smelted into glass using oxygen. But the sand is also being pulled into this machine, which is being crushed into dust. The dust is being combined with water to make clay. Remember that glass from earlier? The glass then gets electrolyzed into nether quartz, which then gets combined with resonant ender, which comes from ender pearls, which gets put into this juice extractor. It combines with the nether quartz to make resonant cathrate, and then that gets smelted into pulsating dust, and then that gets combined with the clay from this machine and the pulsating dust to make polymer clay. Alright, now that's a process. And this polymer clay is the fuel for all of our deep mob learning machines. You see this massive line of machines here? Yeah, these are all the deep mob learning machines. For instance, we have one over here for Enderman. You can see procurement failed. Darn, it's only a 30% chance for these guys to succeed, and we get the juicy loot. Now, the more of these DML machines, yes, DML stands for Deep Mob Learning. Oh yeah, it succeeded. Check it out. It's gonna put one of those little balls into here. Yep, that's gonna turn into ender pearls. And this is what feeds the polymer clay setup. Cool. So anyways, the more these guys run, you can see the amount of iterations right here, the higher your pristine chance will get. As you can see, we're at self-aware. That's maxed out. That's because I let all these guys run overnight. We got the shulker one that's making diamonds. We got, what is this one? A gas one making gas tiers. Now, these do consume a lot of power. Like this one consumes 500 RF per tick. This one consumes 2,000 RF per tick. Yeah, the Enderman one's a bit nuts. And you can see our power draw right here. This is a capacitor bank from Ender.io. It holds power. It's full. It's very useful for seeing how much power you are drawing and outputting. And what are we making power from? Our diamond dynamos here, which I'm pretty sure we made last episode. Honestly, can't remember. But each of these are able to make 6,250 RF per tick just eating diamonds. And we get like infinite diamonds thanks to our shulker module over here. In fact, we also have excess diamonds being stored in this drawer. Look at that. We're over 8,000 diamonds. You love to see it. We're also storing all the different kind of balls from the deep mob learning. For instance, what is this one? This one is the zombie one. You can use it to turn into rotten flesh, iron, carrots, potatoes. And you maybe look at that and be like, oh my gosh, CWG, infinite iron, that's kind of OP. Oh, it gets more OP than that, baby. Because we're also getting these matter thingies. What are they called? Overworldian matter, hellish matter, and extraterrestrial matter. Anytime one of these machines run, they generate one. For instance, this thermal elemental set, it does make one of these balls, but it will also make the overworldian matter. Cool. So we get a ton of this stuff. And these things can be eaten as XP. Look, I can eat the whole stack. Boom, just got 2 levels. So infinite XP, that's cool and all, but one of the useful things you could do with overworldian matter is make iron out of it. Using just 4 matter, 1 rotten flesh, you get 8 iron. That's insane. So yeah, one of these machines, I believe this one, yeah, is making rotten flesh out of the zombie matter. And then over here, I have it getting piped into a crafter. This crafter literally takes overworldian matter, rotted flesh, combines it together to just spit illegal amounts of iron out. And these crafters are awesome. They don't even consume power. They're from extra utilities. I don't even think they're that expensive. Yeah, right here, it's just some steel gears, some resonating redstone, which is redstonia crystals, blah, blah, blah. It's all stuff we've done before, and then we're getting infinite iron. And oh, it doesn't stop there. Let's take a look at this hellish matter. You could do something very similar right here. Combine glowstone and iron, and you get infinite gold. Now we're already getting infinite glowstone thanks to the witches. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yep, I found it. This one right here is giving us infinite glowstone. So if we combine the hellish matter, the infinite glowstone, and the infinite iron we have, yeah, we are now getting infinite gold, which is being piped into the gold drawer. So if we pillar up a few blocks here, you will see we have a full drawer full of gold, full drawer full of iron. We have another full one of copper because we have another guy making copper down there. Another full one of coal. Yeah, we're getting so many useful resources from deep mob learning. And we're storing all of our extra balls in here. Yeah. Eventually, these drawers will fill up, and we're just going to have so many balls on standby. You'll love to see it. Now, you may be wondering what all these machines are. These are just our MV machine lines. These are all medium voltage machines, faster than the low voltage machines. As you can see, I've been making a lot of circuits. We'll get back to the circuits in a bit, but we need a ton of those things. Circuits are used to make like every single of these machines. So now that you guys understand how like the deep mob learning and all the resource gathering is working, let us come back over here. Remember how we're making clay by combining dust and water? We are then piping the clay into a macerator, which turns it into clay dust, and then we're electrolyzing it, which splits into these useful components. For instance, we're getting infinite lithium, which can be used to make batteries. We're getting infinite aluminum, which is huge because aluminum is used for all the different like MV machines. We're getting infinite sodium, which I don't really know what we're going to be using sodium for, but that's cool. And we're also getting infinite silicon, and silicon is used to make circuits. So yeah, we basically got infinite aluminum now, and there's already 17,000 aluminum dust inside this drawer, so we're looking pretty. Yeah, I basically let this world run overnight because it is ran on a server. If you open up your menu here, you can open up claim chunks, and then you can chunk load your area. So this whole thing's been running overnight. That's why we're out of polymer clay, because one of the machines ended up messing up. Basically, I guess the pulsating dust process became too slow. So the clay light got backed up. It's fine. I fixed it using a screwdriver and a robot arm that keeps an exact 50 clay in this machine. As you can see, that number will not change from 50. See, it went back up. That should stop the system from breaking. If we look into one of the machines, yeah, we're up to 18 polymer clay. So we are still net positive, which is good. Next, over here, you guessed it, infinite steel. I am tired of crafting steel, so I decided to just automate it. Because we're getting infinite iron and infinite coal, all we have to do is make a few machines to make wrought iron, make the coal dust, put it in the alloy smelter, and yeah, we now have infinite steel. Grab a stack of that, it's just going to make another stack for us. These materials are being provided through an ME interface here. You can see I set it to coal and iron. Then there's one of the Ender IO item pipes that just pipes it into the proper machine. All right, cool. So we have infinite steel. Let's go check out the next thing that I set up. So this whole insanity over here starts with this machine. You take the carrots, you turn into plant balls. You take the plant balls, turn into biochaff. Then you turn the biochaff into biomass. Then you take the biomass, you distill it into ethanol, and it also gives you some small piles of wood pulp, which is kind of neat, I guess. Then the ethanol gets combined with sulfuric acid to make that ethylene. That's the big stuff. Where are we getting sulfuric acid? Well, of course, we have an infinite sulfuric acid setup. All we do is combine sulfur with oxygen to make sulfur dioxide, combine it with oxygen again to make trioxide, combine it with the water to make sulfuric acid. Where is the sulfur coming from? One of our loot fabricators, of course. The blaze pristine matter can be turned into sulfur for infinite sulfur, which is really good. Also, we're storing a whole bunch of sulfur inside this drum, so I could just slap a storage bus on this and we can access it from the system. I'll do that in a bit. And then all the ethylene is being pumped into this drum right here. You can look at the top left of the screen. We have a full drum of ethylene, which is then being split into two different machines. We got one machine combining the ethylene with oxygen to make polyethylene. You see this drum full of polyethylene that's used for crafting so many things in the assembler. You'll love to see it. Now, on this side, the ethylene is being combined with chlorine, and that makes vinyl chloride. The vinyl chloride is then combined with oxygen to make polyvinyl chloride, aka PVC, aka PVC pipes in your house. Oh, baby, these are also used for a lot of things. And you may be like, CWG, where are you getting the chlorine from? And this part's actually pretty cool. If we go into this machine, gas tiers are being combined with water to make salt water. Yeah, that's a thing. And then the salt water is then being electrolyzed to suck the chlorine out of it. Yeah, so basically infinite chlorine thanks to gas tiers. And of course, we're getting gas tiers from our gas matter balls. Nice. Now, all these items, fluids, are all being routed via these little pipes here. You can kind of see that pipe is for fluids, that pipe is for items, and that one is for our AE system. And they can all stack within the same block. And that's why I love Ender IO cables so much. I know I sometimes get people asking, CWG, why you playing 112 mod packs? Minecraft's in like 120 now. This is why. So you can play Ender IO again and have the most amazing cable management mod of all time, in my opinion. Alright, cool. So we got infinite PVC and infinite polyethylene, infinite chlorine, and infinite sulfuric acid. I am trying to automate all these things really early, so that way, later in the game, when we need copious amounts of this stuff, we'll be thanking ourselves that we've already automated it. Nice. Oh, also, whenever you electrolyze the salt water, you also get some byproducts. Looks like we get some more lithium, potassium, which I guess these two aren't too useful, but what is useful is this sodium hydroxide dust, because you can then combine it with sulfuric acid to make sodium bisulfate, which you can then electrolyze to get sodium persulfate, which you can then combine with the foils to make the circuit boards. Man, this is one insane mod pack, is all I'm going to say. Now, finally, this setup over here. In order to make these energetic alloy wires, which are the MV superconductors, the wires that have no losses that I've been using, you need a lot of this energetic alloy, which is honestly kind of annoying to make because you have to mix gold, redstone, glowstone, takes a while, it turns into the alloy, then you have to throw it through the blast furnace with some nitrogen, takes a while to do. But since we're already making infinite amounts of redstone, glowstone, and gold, all we have to do is combine the three together inside of a mixer here, and we have 2048 energetic alloy dust waiting for us at all times. Right here, we're pulverizing the gold into dust. It's being put into the drawer controller. Each of these drawers actually have a drawer downgrade to reduce the items to a single stack, which is super useful, because you can then use something like an export bus to put all the materials into these drawers, and it will only keep a stack of each on site. Now, to stop this mixer from getting clogged with a whole bunch of items, there is a mechanical arm right here, which is set to keep exact with 2 gold dust, 1 glowstone, 1 redstone dust, which is pulling from this drawer controller, which is able to access these drawers. So it pulls from the drawer controller, goes into here, it puts exactly enough for the recipe. As you can see, we can pull a stack out of here, and it will start mixing. The mechanical arm is smart enough to put the exact amount of items that are needed. Super cool. Alright, so I think you guys are finally caught up with all the automations I've been setting up. It may look like I've been doing like a ton of stuff off camera, which yeah, I guess I have. But at the same time, all I did was use the existing technologies that we got in the previous episodes and just slap everything together to, you know, get passive steel, passive everything. Oh, I'm loving how this base is turning out. Now, you may be like, what the heck is this thing? This is for Applied Energistics auto crafting. We'll be getting into that a bit later. Oh, also, I said I would come back to this whole AE system. If you guys watched my Vault Hunter series, you've already seen me use Applied Energistics before. But if you're familiar with refined storage, it's pretty much the same thing, but a bit prettier looking. I mean, look at these cool drives. The drives themselves are not too bad to make. The 1K storages do cost an LV circuit, but we can make LV circuits no big deal now. The storage housing is just some electrical steel, fine red alloy wire, no big deal. So now we are able to store all our stuff in one convenient spot. Also, I made a storage bus connected to this drawer controller, so that way the system can see all of this stuff. You can see like right here, look, iron, copper, diamonds, you name it. Also, could we just talk about the fact that Ender IO cables are able to transfer ME2? That's just awesome. Now, if you guys have messed around with applied energistics before, you know you need a lot of circuits for it. So let's take this storage bus for example. Let us search up a storage bus, look at the recipe here. You can see it requires formation cores. We can make the robot arms, the MV stuff, blah, 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 fine. But for these, we need these logic processors, which is combining a bunch of stuff inside Inscribers. I present to you my Inscriber automation setup. So in applied energistics, there's 3 types of circuits you can make. It's actually pretty simple. There's one that uses diamonds, there's one that uses Certus quartz, and there's the one that uses the gold. So I used Ender IO item routing pipes and a power cable along the back with a whole bunch of these item filters. As you can see right here is an item filter. I am filtering in gold plates. So if I go to this crate right here, drop in 1 gold plate, you will see that it gets sucked out, gets put into this machine here, and it gets stamped into a little circuit thingy. Look at it. Oh, and then it gets returned into this crate. Now, if we drop in some LV circuits here, let's put in like, I don't know, 5 circuits. We should see those get sucked out as well. Yep, and then the top circuit, the bottom circuit, and the LV circuit in the middle get stamped together, smash. And this is how we are getting our circuits needed for applied energistics, all fully automated. All you gotta do is put the materials in the chest here. Nice, look, we got 9 more logic processors. Now, if you guys are also kind of playing along on your own in this mod pack, I have advice. Don't do any of this. There's actually a mod in here called AE2 stuff, which adds the advanced Inscriber. Yeah, I didn't even see this until after I set all this up. But this guy is way easier to automate. So I recommend build the advanced Inscribers and then just do the same thing as this, but it's going to be easier to set up. Well, there we go. I think we're finally caught up with all the things I've been doing in between episodes. Woo! Now, let's talk about some goals that I want to do in the near future. I want to upgrade these diamond boys because we are sucking out 7,000 FE per tick. Sometimes I see this go up to like 11,000. And if we ever exceed the rate that these guys are able to make, that is a very bad day. But in order to make the upgrade kit to bring it to the next level, we need stuff like signalium, lumium, and I don't think we quite have the technology to do this yet. Maybe we do, I don't know. Now, one of the things we're gonna wanna automate here, but is also gonna be extremely difficult to automate, are these circuits. Crafting circuits is annoying. If you look at the recipe here, we need like 6 different things. You need a CPU, resistor, transistor, capacitor, some circuit boards. Oh my gosh. I know, it does seem overwhelming. But how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. That's right. So we got to focus on the first thing here. Plastic circuit boards. These are honestly probably the most annoying part about making these things. But if you remember, we can get sodium persulfate as a byproduct of one of those things in our chain that we already have set up. And we already have infinite copper, so like these 2 things are already knocked out, which means we just need infinite this. We already have infinite sulfuric acid, check. We already have infinite copper, we already said that, check. So that means all we need is these PVC sheets, polyvinyl chloride. You guys remember how I already set up the automation for that? See, I'm big brain thinking ahead. So all we need to do is get a fluid solidifier with the plate mold and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna get to crafting all the machines we're gonna need to automate this and we'll be right back. And you know, that's one of the satisfying things about expert style mod packs like Nomifactory. At the beginning, it's very grindy. You gotta craft all these things by hand. Look, we gotta craft a pump by hand. Annoying. But as we automate more and more things inside our factory, this process is just going to keep getting easier and easier. Like for instance, we don't have to worry about aluminum for machine hulls anymore. We essentially have unlimited aluminum. Boom, there's 20 MV machine casings, no big deal. Alright, so first things first, I want to automate copper foils, which is the setup I made right here. All you gotta do is grab some copper, you bend it twice, and you get the copper foils. Now, my big brain plan here is that there's gonna be like a wall of all the different things copper can turn into, because if we look up copper here, you can see that copper can be turned into approximately 1 kajillion things depending on what you need. So my plan is to keep this drawer full up with copper, then have all different kinds of machines to process all the different kinds of stuff and things we need. Now, they all have a drawer downgrade in them, so that way they only hold a stack and don't suck out all our resources. All we should have to do is hook up an interface here. I already routed some ME conduits all the way around this guy. Pop them in. And we should be able to go like, hey system, give me copper, please. Thank you. And then we use item pipes to get them into the drawer. Ah, and look at that. The copper's automatically being put in. It's automatically being double bended. Infinite copper foil. You love to see it. Now, on the bottom here, I have a drawer controller because you have to remember, like I said, there's going to be a tons of different things that are going to be processed using copper. So there's going to be like a drawer here, you can imagine. Maybe this one's for rods. This one's for wires. Who knows? The drawer controller should be able to communicate with all of them. So we just have to slap a storage bus on the top of this guy, attach a little glass cable, and it should be connected up. Now in Nomifactory, I believe there is no channel limit. So you don't have to worry about like how many storage buses or blah, blah, blah interfaces are on one wire, which is incredibly nice, I will say. So now if we go check our system over here, look up copper foil, it says we have 94. That's probably because we had some of the system. And look at that, a stack is being constantly maintained. You'll love to see it. Infinite copper foil. Now for the actual circuit board automation itself, probably gonna set it up over here. Let's start by slapping an ME fluid storage bus on top of our sulfuric acid drum, because we're gonna need a lot of that for circuits. Boop. So now if we run back here, I made a liquid terminal. We should be able to see, yep, we have 217 buckets of sulfuric acid. Nice. Now remember to make the ME fluid storage bus and not the ME storage bus on accident. I mean, who could mess something like that up? Couldn't be me. Must suck that tasty polyvinyl chloride. Nice. 128 PVC. So first things we're going to do is take our fluid extractor, slap it down, put inside a plate mold, put in a fluid export bus, boop, 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 hook it up to our system. And it should be as simple as right-clicking the bus, doing a little drag clicking of some PVC, and look at that, getting polyvinyl chloride sheets automatically. Next thing we need to do is turn the PVC into plastic circuit boards using copper foil and sulfuric acid. Let's slap down a chemical reactor. We're going to be using a robot arm for this since it needs 2 different item inputs. Let's slap in an item filter, tell it to suck in PVC, tell it to keep exact, and I don't know, let's just keep like 8 PVC in there. Import should be fine. Yep, 8 PVC inside the chemical reactor. Nice. Next, we're going to need another fluid export bus in order to get the sulfuric acid in here. There we go. Last but not least, we need that copper foil, and we do have an ME interface up here, so what if I just told it to give me some copper foil, please? Thank you. And then we slap some item thingies on here, tell it to insert copper foil. Man, this just gets more and more complicated. And we should be able to hook it up to this line over here using the optimal amount of spaghetti. And there we go, it's working! We're getting automatic plastic circuit boards. Now all we have to do is combine it with more copper and some sodium persulfate. All right, guys, I went ahead and finished the setup. Check it out. So we got our polyvinyl chlorides being turned into sheets. The sheets are then being combined with sulfuric acid, copper foil to turn the circuit boards. Cool. Now, if we look up here, our sodium hydroxide is turning it into sodium bisulfate using sulfuric acid. A few export buses, of course, if you remember, we're getting sodium hydroxide dust from our seawater thingy, electrolyzing thingy. So that's being combined with sulfuric acid. That's then being electrolyzed to turn into sodium persulfate. The hydrogen and the water are being trashed, and the sodium persulfate goes down into here, combines with the copper foil plastic circuit boards to make us automatic passive plastic circuit boards. Already put a drawer downgrade in here, so it's only going to hold a stack, but look at this, never have to craft these again. Let's go. Oh, I love Nomifactory. I think I'm getting addicted if I'm not already. And with that, guys, I'm going to continue automating the other components we need for LV and MV circuits, and I'll do that in between episodes. Let me know in the comments if you guys are impressed with the amount of progress that we've been making. We will beat this pack, no matter how many things we have to automate. I'll catch you guys in the next one. CWG, ow.